Hey guys, what is up? It is Kuro back with another video, and this week I wanted to do another list video and wanted to talk about the 8 things that I wish I knew before I started fursuiting. Let's be real. When we see a fursuit, we get super excited and we might not necessarily think things through before, and sometimes the ramifications might be a little bit bigger than we thought, and the consequences might be more than we bargained for. But I wanted to share these because if you are considering getting a fursuit, it is always good to weigh the options to figure out if getting an actual full fursuit is right for you, or maybe just getting a partial might be better for you. But to kick this list off, I wanted to start with the first thing that I wish I knew before I started fursuiting, and that is the fact that these suits are hot. Like, holy goodness. Super warm. I definitely really didn't think it through before I slapped some carpet on my body, but these suits can be super duper duper warm. As you can see, I wear a kimono fursuit, and there obviously isn't many places for ventilation considering that my eyes have plastic over them. And it is important that you prepare to be warm in your suit, especially if you are wearing a full fursuit. You should consider buying a fan to place into your fursuit head, adding ventilation or vents in the ears or cheeks, and maybe considering buying a full suit of sweat wicking gear like Under Armour or a bodysuit to go under your full fursuit to help keep you cool and prevent sweating. I believe there are also cooling packs that some suitors will buy to wear on their bodies when they are in suit. The second thing that I wish I knew before fursuiting was that these suits are expensive, and they are expensive whether you make them yourself or not. Of course, if you pay another maker to make your suit, it is going to be more expensive money-wise. But if you make it yourself, not only are materials extremely expensive, just check my bank account, and they are also time-consuming. So you are investing a lot of time in making these, or investing a lot of money having someone else make these for you. So these are a big purchase, a big ticket item that not everyone can afford, and budgeting and saving up is super important if you want to get one of these, regardless of if you make it or have someone else make it. These are a luxury item, and it is not something that you can just go out and buy on a whim. Or if you are that wealthy, congratulations. Do you need a sugar baby? I am available. But the third thing that I wish I knew before I started fursuiting was that travel is cumbersome with these things, and it can get incredibly expensive, especially if you choose to fly to a con. And even more so if you multi-suit. Traveling by car is a little bit easier, but it is going to require more containers and boxes if you are going to be going to a hotel, which means more people are going to need to help you carry, or you're going to have to pay the bellhops more to bring in your stuff. Or if you're flying, that means you're going to have to ship your suits, or you're going to have to pay for extra luggage on the plane, and then you're also going to risk your suit being damaged or lost. This is something I did not realize in the beginning, and I definitely didn't realize just how much room a full suit takes up, especially if you've got those big thunder thigh padded digi-suits. Yes, digi-suits take up a lot of space, and some suits you can of course vacuum pack, but not every maker and not every suit has the ability to be squished down. Some suits might not be able to be squished because they run the risk of being damaged. 3D printed fursuit heads cannot be squished. Resin-based heads cannot be squished. You don't want to risk damaging your suit by doing that, which is why they may end up taking up a ton of space. The fourth thing that I wish that I had known before I started fursuiting was vision is definitely limited, and sometimes substantially, when you are wearing a fursuit. So when you have large eyes like mine, there is a good chance that your peripheral and front view might not be greatly impacted. But regardless of what kind of suit you wear, your vision is going to be impaired to some degree. I definitely cannot see below to my feet, as with most fursuiters, they cannot do that. But a lot of suits may have their peripheral messed up and can only see to a certain point. Others may have a huge blind spot in the middle where they have to cock their head to one side or the other in order to see properly. This can be very troublesome, and if you are not used to wearing a fursuit, it can be scary at first. It can induce the feeling of claustrophobia if you are someone who is more prone to feeling trapped inside a hothead like a fursuit. The fifth thing I wish that I knew before I started fursuiting was that dexterity in your hands can become quite, I have big puffy hand paws that are not necessarily easily movable. And if I am wearing my suit, I have to realize that I am now unable to use my phone, grab something out of someone's hand properly. I literally have to take both of my hands, squish them together, move them around in order to do what I need to do that I could normally do with my hand. As you can see on my hand paws, I can only move my fingers so much, whereas with my normal hand, I can move them no problem. So it is definitely a limiting factor. And not only that, but walking around can become dangerous, especially if there are moving escalators or elevators. And it is especially dangerous if you don't have a handler and you have large feet. Be careful of your surroundings, and it may take some practice when you're wearing your fursuit, but definitely something to consider if you are getting a full fursuit. Big feet, larger than normal shoes, takes practice walking in. That is why so many fursuiters recommend you have a handler. It's not only to keep strangers away from you and children from pulling your tail off, but it is also to protect you from accidentally getting your foot stuck in an escalator and causing a jam, or you tripping down the stairs and breaking your leg. So definitely something important to consider when getting a suit. The sixth thing that I wish I knew before I started fursuiting was that you actually have to be in decent shape in order to wear these costumes. Yes, very true. I quickly learned that I am out of shape when it comes to the strength and endurance needed to wear a full fursuit for an extended period of time. You really don't realize that these suits actually are super warm and over time are pretty heavy. When it's all said and done, my head is pretty lightweight, but that added pound or two over the course of a day, mixed with the heat, mixed with the weight of the full fursuit padding, really adds up, and it really takes a toll on your body. And if you are not prepared and hydrated and practiced enough, at the end of the day, you're going to be beat, dead tired, sore, overheated, and dehydrated, and the issues will creep up on you much faster than you realize. So it is definitely something to consider. My seventh thing that I wish I knew before I started fursuiting is actually that upkeep is a lot more than I expected. It is much more than just brushing the fur out of your hands and feet from a long day of wear. It is actually spraying and disinfecting the inside of your fursuit head. It is brushing out your bodysuit and folding it or hanging it in such a way that it doesn't stretch out. It's removing and storing the padding in such a way that it doesn't collect grime and dirt and dust, or that rodents over time do not nest and make a home within your padding. It is packaging your suit in such a way that there is no creases or crinkles within the fur, or if that happens, it is YouTubing a tutorial on how to remove kinking in faux fur using safe methods that won't melt the fabric. No, I do not know this from experience. I don't know what you are talking about. There are all sorts of different additional things that you need to do to keep your suit in top condition. Of course, these are works of art, and they are also handmade, which means that they are prone to wear and tear just like anything else. And you may have to actually learn how to repair a popped seam or re-glue a, torn shoe sole or something like that. It is a constant upkeep, and it is always important to maintain and do regular repairs on your suit to make sure that they last as long as they possibly can. And my 8th and final thing that I wish I knew before I started fursuiting was that summer cons are the toughest, especially when you have all black fur like on my suit. What a horrible choice, I must say. So it is something to consider the timing of which you will wear your fursuit. Of course, colder months or winter months, depending on where you live, are going to be the more optimal time just because of the temperature outside. But you may not always have the luxury of being outdoors. So inside, it is always important that you take proper precaution and stay in well air-conditioned areas if it is the summertime. My favorite convention is Anthrocon. I have gone to that more times than I can count. And fursuiting at that con is incredibly tough when it is peak summer months in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And this suit, which is a fairly new suit, I did just make it, it is incredibly, as is all black furred or dark colored fursuits, but even lighter fursuits are still going to have a heat issue. So definitely take precaution and consider hydrating well before you start wearing your suit, especially if you are going to be outdoors in the summer heat during summer cons. Just be smart, be safe, and if you feel like you are starting to get ill, consider taking a chill moment, relax a little bit, go to the Headless Lounge, it'll be fine. You'll be able to party and hang out with people more afterwards. Did not realize just how hard summer cons would be in full fursuit. So those were my 8 things that I wish I knew before I started fursuiting. What are your top reasons or things that you wish you knew before you started fursuiting? Is there anything that you regret or anything that you want to share with someone else? Definitely leave a comment below with what you think are the best reasons or important things to consider. But that is all for now, guys. Thank you so much for watching my video. If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking and subscribing, as it does really help my channel. But that is all for now, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. I will catch you next week in the next video. Bye-bye.